Canon's been working on a new stereophonic RF lens. There's also a new uninvasive method for resetting the R5's overheat clock, and we have the Nikon Z8 along with an update on the rumor for the high megapixel RF camera. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, or tutorials. And all the links to everything I talk about in this video, including any gear discussed, are placed in the description down below along with my affiliate links. So if you need camera gear and you also want to help support the channel, consider using my affiliate links for B&H and Amazon, and if you're in Canada, give Patrick a call at Downtown Camera. Are you interested in shooting with a stereoscopic lens if available? No, me neither. But Canon News did break this information about a patent by Canon for an RF 5.57mm stereoscopic lens. So if you are interested, well, don't get too excited because, well, patent filings usually indicate that if a product is coming out, it's probably years away, if at all. Now, stereoscopic lenses can be used for many things, from recording 3D shape and motion reconstruction, texture mapping and image rendering, lighting environment estimation, visual content analysis and editing, 3D action analysis, and data compression. But they can also be used for future research into 3D video technology. So if you don't understand much or any of that, you're not alone. So let's get back to a topic that's a little bit more down to earth. The channel, The Film Poet, published a short video yesterday on how to reset the R5's overheat clock without taking apart the camera or pulling apart the internal battery. This new workaround doesn't involve opening the R5, nor does it involve messing with the firmware. And it can be done in basically a minute or so. Thanks to the Film Poet for letting me borrow some of his clips for this story. Now, once the R5 overheats, he tells us we need to turn it off and open the battery bay door. Now, this will ensure that all your settings have been written to internal memory. At this point, depress and hold down the battery bay door sensor, as you can see in Film Poet's video. You'll remember this was used by another YouTuber to reset the clock, but his approach involved corrupting the video file. And that won't happen here. Once the R5 overheats, turn it off, then open the battery bay door. This will ensure that your settings have been written to internal memory, so you're not going to lose anything. Depress and hold down the battery bay door sensor, as you can see here. You'll remember this was also used by another YouTuber to reset the clock, but in his approach, we lost our data, we lost our video, and that won't happen here. With the battery bay door sensor still depressed, power on the R5. Still holding it down, change the date. And what you want to do is skip ahead a full day. Click OK. With the sensor still depressed, eject the battery. You can now release the battery bay door. That's it. Just put the battery back in, close the battery bay door, and turn the R5 back on. As you can see in this video, the recording limit has been reset. Now, I tried to test this, but, well, if you've been watching my recent videos, you'll notice that it's probably a wee bit too cold here for me to be able to test these things. I went about an hour and I didn't get an overheat warning, so I wasn't able to do that. But others have tested this, and the results seem to pan out. However, I wouldn't recommend trying this out all the time. We really don't know the long-term effects of doing this, but in a pinch, it's definitely a solid workaround. Thanks to the Film Poet again for allowing me to use his clips in this video. The Nikon Z8 will have a 60 megapixel full-frame CMOS sensor. It'll be able to shoot full-resolution images at 14 frames a second with a mechanical shutter, and all this with autofocus enabled. Is this a mirrorless version of the D6 being announced so soon after the D6 came out? Well, there's not really a lot to go on here. For one thing, we don't really know what the video capabilities are going to be like. But one thing is, if we go with past cameras and how things are usually done, most high megapixel cameras really aren't known for their award-winning video capabilities. In fact, the opposite is usually true. But that's not the purpose of these cameras. Sure, it'll probably have 1080 and it'll likely have 4K as well, but it's definitely not going to have things such as full sensor readout or internal ND filters. Some have said that this camera is going to be a competitor to the R5. I disagree. I'd say it's most likely going to be a competitor to a high megapixel version of an RF body, if that ever comes out, or the Sony A7R4. Either way, the camera does sound interesting, and the name, well, it hasn't yet been confirmed. It's believed to be called either the Z8 or Z9. But what about the opportunity that Nikon has chosen to come out with a photocentric and a videocentric version of the same camera, much in the same way that Panasonic did? That would be a smart move. Deliver the Z8 a camera capable of both photo and video aimed right at the R5 and the S1, and then have a high megapixel version aimed at the Panasonic S1R and the yet-to-be-announced megapixel or high megapixel R5. Now, no announcement date has been mentioned, but I'm doubtful that we'll see it this year, as the Z6S and the Z7S are expected to make an announcement sometime within the next 6 weeks. It appears like the Z8 may not arrive until 2021, if that's what it's going to be called. Oh, and the high megapixel RF camera? Well, we have an update for you on that one as well. Canon Rumors reports a small group of photographers have a high megapixel body in their hands as it's going through the first phase of testing as a finished product. A couple of months ago, it was rumored that an upcoming high megapixel RF camera would be capable of 150 megapixels. Well, we quickly dashed that rumor and said that the pixel count would be somewhere between 80 and 90 megapixels. Well, it looks like we weren't too far off. Canon Rumors says that the sensor will be around 90 megapixels. They also did not specify any other capabilities or indicate when the camera would be announced. But I'd be surprised if they announced it this year. It sounds like Canon really has its hands full meeting production of current demands, and of course there's the yet to be announced cameras scheduled for this year. Speaking of sound, you might have noticed that I have on two lav mics today. I'm simultaneously recording the Tascam DR10L and the Synco Lav mic at the same time. That's kind of redundant, isn't it? Simultaneously and at the same time. Anyhow, grammar aside, this is for a future review that I'm doing. I'm going to look at the Synco shotgun mic, this one here, and of course the lav mic, which is on me right now, and I'm going to compare them against the competition. The more expensive Rode mic, and this is a lot bigger than it looks because, well, remember all those squirrels I told you about? Got a new dead cat made out of fresh squirrels. I'm just kidding. No squirrels were harmed or cats were harmed in the production of this dead cat. Anyhow, grammar aside, the review is going to look at the shotgun and the lav mics made by Synco and compare them against the competition, specifically the very popular Tascam and the Rode VideoMic Pro. And I know what you're thinking, Simon, this is not normally how reviews are done. Normally products of the same class are compared against each other side by side. But when you think about it, that's not really how us as ordinary filmmakers or photographers make our decision. We generally look at a variety of products in different price points, and what we try to do is we try to figure out which one's going to give us the best quality that we can get for the price that we can afford. We rarely just look at one price point, and so I'm going to be looking at the Synco mics because they're priced anywhere from 3 times to 6 times less that of the Tascam and the Rode products. And I'll help you answer one question. Does the Synco provide you with audio capabilities that you need for less? This review should be out within the next 7 days. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win the Canon EOS R5 camera. Thanks for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.